Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Breeden, and welcome to Constellation Tour number 5. We're going to be going over the constellation Cassiopeia tonight, and we are using Stellarium planetarium software, and we have it set up tonight for January the 10th at about 7:30 p.m. in the evening from suburban skies, so there's a little bit of light pollution, but you can still see plenty of stars. So to find Cassiopeia, you want to look north. It is a northern hemisphere constellation, and it is near the North Celestial Pole. The common name for Cassiopeia is the Queen. So let's have a look north, and the North Star is going to be your latitude above the northern horizon. So we're at 38 degrees north latitude here in Missouri. So the North Star is 38 degrees above the northern horizon. So Cassiopeia in January is going to be way up high in the sky. So you're going to look for this W-shaped constellation. It's shaped more like an M in January. So let's have a look at Cassiopeia the Queen. Now I've turned on the constellation boundaries. So right here's the North Star, and Cassiopeia the Queen encompasses this whole area of sky that's bordered here that I'm showing you. So it's a pretty good sized constellation. It's not really large, but there's plenty there. And Cassiopeia is one of the most observed constellations in the night sky by amateur astronomers. And you rarely go to a star party where the constellation Cassiopeia is not mentioned, and for one reason or another, either for the W-shaped asterism or star hopping using the various segments of the W to find different objects, or just deep sky objects that are within its boundaries. So Cassiopeia gets a lot of attention in the night sky. Okay, let's have a look at the classical drawings. And Cassiopeia is pictured as sitting in a chair, admiring herself in a mirror. And the W shape or the M shape here kind of traces her figure sitting in that chair. And that is going to, let's go ahead and move this back toward the North Star here. The North Star is right here. So all these circumpolar constellations rotate counterclockwise around the North Star, and that includes Cassiopeia. And you will notice that Cassiopeia and the Big Dipper are on opposite sides of the North Star. So if you imagine this part of the sky as a large clock, the sky is turning counterclockwise, and the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia are always on opposite sides of the North Star. Okay, Cassiopeia, being circumpolar, is observable all year from mid-northern latitudes. There are no real overwhelmingly bright stars in Cassiopeia. It's mostly found just by its W-shaped asterism. However, there is one pretty nice double star in Cassiopeia. It's Eta Cassiopeia. So let's go ahead and search for that. And let's have a look at that through our finder scope. It's called Ackerd, and I don't see that it splits here. So let's try an eyepiece. So that's probably its companion right there, this little star above it. So that would make a nice target for small telescopes. Okay, there are plenty of deep sky objects in Cassiopeia, so let's start with two Messier objects. We have two open clusters, M52 and M105. So let's start with M52. And through the finder scope here, M52 appears as a really faint smudge with this really nice red star just over here to the right. That star will be on the other side in the summer months when Cassiopeia is lower in the sky. Well, let's have a look at it through the eyepiece. Now through the eyepiece, M52 looks pretty nice. This is simulating a 26 millimeter eyepiece. M52 is 500 light years from Earth. It's magnitude 7. Easily accessible deep sky object even from the suburbs. Okay, let's put up our constellation boundaries again so you can kind of get an idea of the size of Cassiopeia in the sky. This is simulating a 60-degree field of view, which is what you see, which you typically can take in with the naked eye. And Cassiopeia is a pretty good sized constellation. So if you look up and you see this W shape, just picture in your mind the area around it extending about the same distance, and you get an idea of the size of Cassiopeia in the sky. Okay, let's have a look at another Messier object in Cassiopeia, M105. You thought I forgot, didn't you? My favorite part is when I darken the sky and simulate the night sky from a dark location. Let's do that. Now Cassiopeia is one of those few constellations that's still pretty easy to find, even from a dark site when there's a lot of stars up in the sky. So you just look for this M or W shape, and it does tend to still stand out, even with a lot of fainter stars visible. Okay, let's continue our search for open cluster M105. Oh, M105 is below the horizon, so there must be a mistake on my star chart. Well, that isn't what we're looking for. I think maybe it's M103, if I remember correctly. Maybe I just can't read my own writing. There we go. It's M103. I can't read my own writing here. So M103 is the open cluster we're looking for in Cassiopeia. And let's have a look at the constellation lines again so you can get an idea of how to star hop to it. This is one that you can star hop to pretty easily. So you want to find this star in the W shape, and then it's going to just be almost right next to it. It looks like just about 2 degrees over from this particular star. So let's have an eyepiece view of it. M103 is 7th magnitude and is located about 10,000 light years from Earth. Okay, I have another object listed here. Hopefully this one's correct in Cassiopeia, and it's NGC 457. That sounds familiar to me. The ET cluster? Does that sound right? NGC 457? Yeah, here it is. It says Owl Cluster or ET Cluster. So my memory did serve me correct on that one. So let's have a close-up look at NGC 457 Open Cluster, also known as the ET Cluster. There's the view of it through your finder scope. And at that magnification, you can actually make out the little stick figure asterism that it presents to you. And this time of year, in mid-January, it is actually standing upright. And you can see these two stars here are the eyes. This is the body. These are the arms. These are the feet here of the little ET cluster. So let's have a look through the eyepiece. NGC 457 is about 5,000 light years from Earth and shines at magnitude 6. So easily accessible from a backyard telescope. Okay, folks, this concludes my presentation on Cassiopeia the Queen. Good night and good seeing.